And apologies, there has been a couple of emails go out this morning saying that the recording was available. We're actually going to send one email out with all of the links on, and that's going to come out after tomorrow when the last in the series has been aired, if you like. So apologies for that email, that was kind of pre-programmed. We will be sharing all of our recordings in one email to make it convenient for you to find the right recording. In the chat, I'm going to share some links to our LinkedIn pages, to our feedback forms. Please do share your suggestions with us so that we can plan our future webinars along the lines of the topics and themes that you're interested in. We are offering a certificate of attendance for those who have attended all 6 sessions, so please check your name with your registration on the ICF, and make sure that if there's any differences, you can send me an email and just highlight it so that when we raise the certificates, it's in your proper coaching name, and it's correctly named for you. Throughout the presentation, if you can put your questions in the chat box, I will be selecting the most relevant questions to the topic that we've got today. And if we run out of time, we'll be contacting you. We'll connect afterwards. We'll probably, we are looking at answering every single person's question, and we'll be sharing them with everyone as well, because there's been a lot of demand for people who wanted answers to other people's questions. And I think part of the peer learning is sharing those answers as well. The questions will be anonymous when we do that. So again, if there's anything sensitive, you can ask the question and we'll make sure that you are not named anywhere. This Human Aspects in Coaching mini course provides you with thematic insights of our NLP Essentials course, which we are delivering online in June. By scanning the QR code, you can go to the online listings and you can learn more, and I will share the link to that as well. If we go over the hour, you're welcome to stay or go. Sometimes there's a discussion taking place that we don't want to interrupt because we want to make sure that we're giving value to everybody. I will highlight when it is the hour, so please feel free to go. Yeah, we'll reconnect again because we've had so much demand. We'll be definitely doing more webinars, and we hope to see you again after International Coaching Week. So about Purposeful Innovators. Purposeful Innovators is a non-profit social enterprise registered in the UK under Companies House. We're a membership of professionals across all fields who have dedicated their life work to human and social development, the environment, and sustainable finance. We are governed by a voluntary global board of 7 directors, and we have 80+ pioneer members who are working towards a common mission, which is to revolutionize how the world works. Our motto is no compromise to planet, to people, and to profit. Our work falls within the 5 channels of education, social and community projects, ESG consultancy, research, and environmental partnerships. My name is Rania Laing. I'm the founder of Purposeful Innovators, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, and a PCC ICF coach. I also sit on the board of trustees for the ICF Foundation. About the Institute. Accredited for adult education by the Ministry of Education in Luxembourg and accredited by IAS for ISO 9001-2015 and accredited by the International Coach Federation levels 3 and 2. The International Institute for Research in Human Development is a professional training center headquartered in Luxembourg. It specializes in certifying continuing professional training in coaching, NLP, leadership and management, and Enneagram. In addition, it provides training in human resources management, intrinsic motivation, meta profile, evaluation, recruitment profiling, potential and talent management. We are joined today by Giorgios Bouronikos, who is the managing director and the founder of the Institute. George is a lecturer at the Université de Reims. He's an ICF-MCC coach, SICPNL SICPNL certified, a trainer and master practitioner of NLP. He is a spiral dynamics, sociocracy, and Enneagram specialist. George is the Secretary General of the IAFM and the former Secretary General of the ICF Luxembourg. He's an ICF Global Member, past member of the Board of Directors at ECA-EMCC in Belgium. And we're also joined today by our team members, Mario and Veronique. Welcome, George, over to you for Human Aspects in Coaching, Seminar 5, Flexibility in Organisational Systems.
Thank you very much, Rania, for this introduction. Let's go on a sensitive topic. It's flexibility to ourselves. It's not a topic today, but flexibility to organizations. And I was thinking this morning, should we stay flexible during our conferences today? I said, why not? That means you have your PowerPoint, but there is things that doesn't exist in your PowerPoint. And not because I'm not willing to give it to you, because I was thinking this morning in a flexibility dynamic. Let's go on, Mario, if you like. What is and why the methods to just construct a credible solution towards credibility, and the importance of coaching in relations to flexibility, in fact, in organizations. Next. Definition. As you know, definition is always an issue of discussion, but this we are going to refer that the ability of an organization to adapt and respond to changing circumstances and conditions. This is flexibility. And what is the importance? Enable organizations to adjust their strategy, processes, structure, and culture to meet new challenges and opportunities. The topic of flexibility, we can see under different approaches. We have the structural flexibility. This is what is connected with the organizational structure in a way that allows for easy adaptation to changes. For example, a flat organization structure with decentralized decision-making can promote easier flexibility. There is also the process flexibility. This is the approach that concern designing processes that are adaptable and can be easily modified to meet changing needs. For example, agile project management methodologies can promote this kind of process flexibility. There is also resource flexibility. This is an approach which concerns or is linked with the flexibility of resources, such as multi-skilled employees and adaptable technology. Just see the intrinsic motivation of the people when we hire them can easily be redeployed on different tasks and on different projects. And finally, there is the cultural flexibility. The cultural flexibility promotes a culture of innovation and creativity and continuous improvement that we have to promote within companies if we want to be flexible according to our environment. As you can see, we have different approaches of flexibility, and it's not something which is exhaustive. That means we are open when we do the organization of department, of society, of companies. We can find new challenges within the notion of flexibility. Let's go on, Marius. Before to go to the methods, I would like just to have a think about what can increase flexibility. What can increase flexibility from my own experience and from the literature review till now is the open communication. This is where coaches coming in, and they are important. That encourage open communication to the organization. This is foster a culture of innovation. This is invest in technology. This is embrace agile methodologies, develop multi-skilled employees, and streamline the decision-making process. This is very important. And stay up to date on market trends. Don't be foreigner to the context and the political and social context of your countries. In fact, when you work on flexibilities, what's the methods? What we can do there? This is the agile process. Break down work into small interactive cycle, adjust and change frequently. Modular team structure. Use small, self-contained units, teams that are easily reconfigured or reformed. Open communication, as we said before, foster open and transparent communication, quickly identify and respond to emerging issues and opportunity. You know how fast our society is going currently. Empowerment allows employees to make decisions, take ownership, act with flexibility and agility. This is also to give away power to other people and trust them. Next, Mario. The importance of coaching. This is a reflection that we should do as coaches, all of us. And before we go there, it is good to outline what in fact is the different changes that flexibility brings in a company. We can think about resistance to change, and everybody of us can faced already in the past this kind of resistance, which is quite increasing. The lack of resources. That is, implementing flexible organizational system can require investment in resources such as technology, training the employees, develop them. If we take the 3 basic level of competencies, there is the technical competencies, there is the relationship competencies, and there is the emotional competencies, in a way that not to recognize our emotion, but to inspire people. We have really to take the time to improve these resources with continuous training. There is also the cultural barriers. Some cultures may be resistant to changes more than others, but we have to go with the open communication, the understanding, the sensibility to change these barriers. Regulatory constraints could be also a challenge. In some industry, regulatory constraints may limit the ability of organization to implement flexible organizational system. For example, in highly regulated industries such as healthcare or finance, there may be restricted guidelines on decision-making and process control. Lack of leadership, and this is a main point in our society. Leadership has to support. And as I said before, we have to update or develop our emotional skills in a way to inspire people as a team leader, as a manager, as a director, and above all, a CEO of an organization. And finally, lack of employees buy-in. Employees may not see the benefit of flexible organizational system and may not be motivated to embrace change. Lack of employees buy-in can be a major barrier to achieve flexibility. This is the reason why the open communication and the trust is a major element to our effort to accompany organization in such a challenge. And going back to our slide now, what is the importance of coaching in this effort to overcome challenges like the above? It helps individuals and teams develop skills, mindset, and behavior necessary to adapt to change, uncertainty, and respond effectively to new challenges and opportunities. Identify and leverage employees' strengths to achieve organizational goals. Builds a culture of continuous learning and improvement by encouraging employees to take ownership of their development and providing regular feedback and support. And finally, develops the agility of resilience of individuals and teams and builds the adaptive capacity of the organization as a whole. And on that, what I propose to you to be flexible today, I would like that you share own experiences about coaching that you did, or our concerns concerning flexibility in organization as a coach. Never forget we're coaches. I open the discussion now, and I let Rania do the modeling of the questions. Thank you.
So I've just put the question up in our chat so that everyone can refer to it. So please share your experiences and concerns about flexibility in your organization or organizations you worked with as a coach.
Elsa is ready to share.
Sorry, I'm looking at the chat so that we can document the questions. Elsa, would it be possible to
I can write it right after because I'm in the car, so it's difficult for me to, but I'm in the traffic, so I took the opportunity to raise my hand.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us when you're so busy. So please go ahead.
Nevertheless, be careful with the car.
Yes, sure. That's why I'm using the microphone instead of writing. Okay. My question is the importance of coaching in the family businesses and in the succession of leadership and generational wealth. So what is your view on that?
I feel there is some parents, they put the pressure to the kids to take over their companies. Thank you for your question. Coaching an organization that we belong to, family organization, it's a matter like to coach our own family. There is a particular emotional involvement. I stay flexible of the matters. What I tell, it's my own opinion, doesn't engage ICF. I consider that we have to be very careful when we coach our people, because it's family or other people that we are involved emotionally. If we feel strong enough to go on, let you go on. But if not, you can just ask another colleague, in fact, to take over. At the same time, go on.
Excuse me, Giorgio. My question was, no, I'm an external coach, but I'm specializing. I'm an entrepreneur coach, and I'm specializing in storing with the entrepreneur from stage one, the idea of the legacy and how they want to do it, and the importance of being prepared and preparing everything, because I come from a financial advisory background for 25 years, investing for family businesses in their money, and I have decided 2 years ago to study coaching and shift my career into executive coaching for family businesses. So it's not about my family. What I mean is the succession and the importance of coaching for this type of organization.
Okay, thank you for the precision. In fact, you said to be prepared, and in my country we say you want to make God laugh, make plans, and this is the objective of the importance of flexibility. Stay flexible. Just be aware that when we have links, family links, emotion, it's much more deeper. They can be expressed much more hardly or in a way that is difficult to manage. The first thing is to take the big image and the values. We're going to the NLP, in fact, it's not magic, or the values, the objective, the mission, what they want to do, and you go down to the behaviors. Normally, we have problems to the behavioral stage or to belief stage. And if you go up a level to the values and the mission, it's much more easier to convince people to open communication and to be flexible in a way to listen to the other, because very often the people doesn't listen to the other, listen not to react, but listen to understand. If you can reach this level of mutual understanding, I think approximately 80% your job will be much more easier. Doesn't mean that this is 100% successful. I don't know if I answered to your question.
Yes, yes, somehow.
What I didn't answer.
It's not easy. It's not easy because there's also a lot of ego and beliefs and yes, a lot of ego in the the transmission from one generation to another, and the feeling that you are losing the control either to the next generation or to people from outside the family, and it's challenging, definitely, but I think that's what's interesting about it as well. So because if you are able to make a difference with these type of organizations, then you can make maybe in any type, because they are so complex and so difficult to handle. But I guess the non-directive approach of coaching is what is taking me there, because the biggest problem we face with family businesses owners is yes, as a consultant, it's great, your ideas are great, but here in our company, in our family, this is the way we do it, and this is so the power of non-directive coaching is the fact that they come up with the solution, so they can appropriate it and not feeling that it's imposed on them. That's why I think, and I wanted to have your opinion on that the coaching is key in this type of organization.
A good point to start is to explore the objective. Every time they tell you something, what the real objective behind your hand, what the head, when you tell me that. And this is, you are going to find also what they believe, what is the view, the values, all this stuff. The other thing, I can make a parallel with the professional organization for teenagers. Parents has to be alive. And if we convince parents they are allies to the effort of the child, and the opposite, because it's the same thing. If you give your company to your child, it's exactly the same thing. The only difference is you know what is your job. If you convince that they are each other allies, things are much more easier.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Can I add something? Because can I add something?
Yes,
something?
Yeah, go ahead, Mario.
In my experience, and I'm the coach of an organization in France that is franchising, a big organization, and is based on family businesses. And I see that the transmission of the heritage is a problem in any case. And what it appears in coaching, in my coachings, is that there is in multiple cases, there is a situation that they call the live or die. I mean, the transmission is difficult because the previous generation doesn't want to release the power to the next generation. The next generation feels the weight of the responsibility to take the power in the organization and the business. So this live or die situation is interesting because it creates priority frame. So to prioritize the exploration of core values is necessary, mandatory. So I agree with Giorgios that the exploration of core values is a fundamental step in this pathway to receive a heritage or given a heritage to the next generation. And in many cases, the fact to align the core values in a new proposal for the business is an important and interesting step to go further. So maybe this is hypothesis to work. I don't know if I'm clear with my proposal.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree, because at the end of the day, the legacy is all about transmitting the values. Why do you want to perpetuate? Why do you want to keep this company when you're out of this world. It's because you have built something and you want to transmit the legacy. So the values before the money, it's the values, definitely. And that's why it's not always about staying in the family. Sometimes they need to take a decision to step out, but keep the legacy and keep the values. And so it doesn't mean that if the second or third generation doesn't take over, means that the company or the legacy has been lost. Sometimes it's lost because it stays within the family. So it's important. I think there are lots of things to discuss with this generation to understand what do they want to leave. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and to make understand everybody that the world's changing every day, at each moment. So it's necessary to align the core values with the world changes. World changes. So it's necessary to change, to stay alive. That's why I said a live or die situation. And the nature doesn't stop to change. So if we see at the nature, if you watch at the nature, if you have a look at the nature, and the biological systems, it's interesting to see that they're changing at each moment.
Thank you, Maria. And I think if we've got lots of fantastic questions, so if we can move forward, if that's okay with everyone. So Claire has asked, I find some.
There is a quick question that I would like to answer. It's
absolutely, go ahead.
Acquire emotional skills. Emotional skills, we cannot explain it in 2 minutes. This is one thing, but the emotional skills is a basic skill to improve your emotional leadership. And I said before, emotional leadership, it's about inspiring people. We will have a training course on emotional skills specific on that, and I invite you to join us if you are willing to know more about that. In fact, I let you, Rania, go on. Thank you.
Thank you, George. So Claire is asking, I find some organizations say that they want to introduce coaching to enhance performance. However, their leadership style is often the barrier to introducing a supportive and challenging coaching culture due to the directive dictator leadership style. So that was sharing. Another, Adina also says, my experience and concern is that when it comes to coaching, it's usually applied to leadership and not the lower levels. I find it not flexible, as also people on the lower could benefit from it and not from the manager that coaches. And then following on from that, Jen says, how are you finding the level of willingness from leadership and CEOs to integrate coaching in organizations currently?
Beautiful questions. I go to the first one. I will say what I said for the individual coaching. Organization has or choose the coach that they deserve. And that means the only thing you can do is just to define well the objective of the person who asks you to coach an organization. For my opinion, it's good to do a top-down coaching. If the leadership is not convinced, there is a big chance that you will not achieve something great for the organization. You have to convince the leadership. This is one thing. I saw also another question about the indicators, the KPI, how I cannot give you indicators for the simple way. As a coach, you have to investigate, to ask to your coachee, the person who demands for the coaching, how he will understand, he will acknowledge that you got the objective, you got what they wanted to achieve in the organization. It's the customer, the client is going to define these indicators. And to go on, it's true, but sometimes the leadership, sometimes just the employees, they have coaching. If there's the employees, you have just to go and be sure that the top management is agree. Secondly, don't commit yourself that if you go on a coaching, people they will not just change job afterwards. They are going to leave their jobs because they feel that their vision is different from the company. Be open, be flexible. Nothing is given, and you have to prepare to go through difficult time with leadership. And finally, how we find the level of willingness, this is a credibility. If is the demand credible? And with my heart of behavioral analyst, I will tell you, if you don't have a specialization in behavioral analysis and credibility evaluation, you can observe people. You can see if people are credible on their demand or there is a hidden objective behind. Nevertheless, what is the objective of the organization? It's up to you to accept or to don't accept the offer or the demand.
Fantastic. Thank you, George. I'm actually really interested to hear Veronique's input of this, because Veronique, you've got a lot of experience in large organizations that can be quite rigid in their thinking and quite a large separation, I guess, between the leadership and the rest of the organizational population. What is your opinion about how organizations can build in flexibility while dealing with the challenges of leadership, and at the same time it's the leaders that get the coaching and not the rest of the employees? You're on mute, Veronique.
It's true that, you know, for quite a long time, I was working in multinational companies, and at least for 15 years. And so now I have the experience between a large, you know, multinational company, and today, you know, I'm, you know, working in a smaller, you know, company. And I think, you know, I can see, you know, more or less the same as is the leader, you know, are not willing, you know, to change something. They don't have, you know, the flexibility, you know, to adapt themselves, you know, for certain things, you know, going on in the company. It's difficult. So for me, you know, it's true that, you know, they have to understand, you know, what's going on in their company, but in the same time, you know, to understand, to have this flexibility. And today, you know, our, you know, management, they have a coach coming in very regularly, you know, to coach them and to, you know, to see, you know, the flexibility and have, you know, the agility, you know, to inspire, you know, us as employee or managers or director in the company. So, and this makes a huge difference because they are coached themselves first, and then they probably, you know, will be able, you know, to download, you know, the style of coaching, you know, in the rest of the environment in the company. So, yeah, this would be my my answer.
Thank you, Veronique.
You have to be flexible. Everybody has to be flexible. It's not that easy. Yeah. And for me, I would finish that if our top management is not flexible, it's difficult, you know, to implement flexibility or agility in a company. They have to understand that. For me.
Thank you. Wendy and Mario, have you got anything more to add?
No, I agree with Veronique. A lot of flexibility is needed. But isn't that what we want from leaders now, to develop their coaching skills? Because they need to be coaching their people as they go through and sort of really build that connection between the head office, the heads of department, and leading, you know, having that strategy business focus and really connecting with the people. So, yeah. In the ideal world, a good leader is a good coach.
Yeah, and there is a serious question about the motivation and the goal of the organization to declare they want to be flexible, because of course it's very modern to say we are a flexible, agile organization, but as a coach, it's better to check if it's the real situation and check with the leaders and then maybe involve the leaders and the lower levels in the same work frame to develop flexibility in the organization, into the organization. And of course, if you have insulated cells in the organization, and in this system, you're working on flexibility into a cell, you cannot share the experience with the rest of the system. So it has to be a systemic work, and let emerge, elicitate the elements involving everybody is working in the system. Not only the leaders, not only the lower levels, but everybody. And of course, each one has a different level of responsibilities in the organization, and it's normal. But I think that an open communication, transparent communication from the high level to the low one, and a system of feedback. We talked about feedback at the start of the week, and I think that the flexibility is impossible without a feedback culture in an organization, because feedback make the communication open and make the people know each other, and in the working day, just day by day. So I think that the systemic approach is very important to make everybody involved in the change of mindset, because each one of us has a 92% of cognitive biases. So it's difficult to change a mindset individually and more collectively. So for me, it's systemic approach, feedback culture, open communication are necessary steps.
Thank you, Mario.
Involve everybody.
So having established that coaching is so vital with regards to introducing the flexibility as a skill with an organizational systemic strength, if you like, Niha's got some really relevant questions about how do you showcase the companies and the effects of coaching within the organization. How do you, if you're not allowed to record sessions or you don't want to be recording sessions, how do you keep those records? So as evidence of building flexibility as a organizational strength, there's some, if you like, paradoxes going on here. You need to prove something, and then you're kind of held back or limited in how you do that as a coach. She also asked, do we need to share our questions to the owner or the management of the company when we're doing employee coaching, and how does a coaching culture get planned? So all about integrating coaching into the organization to build flexibility. So who would like to take that question first?
Thank you for this question. I will take over, but before that, we have a question before. It's about what is the most important competencies for leaders. I would like just to give an idea about that, because there is no defined competencies for leaders, in fact. But take into account that we have 3 levels of competencies. We said before: technical, relational, and emotional. More we are going to the top leading position, less we have technical competencies. We should work out with relationship competencies, and we have to increase our emotional competencies in a way to make vision, because we need vision. We have an enormous lack of vision currently. And as Wendy said very well earlier, all the competencies of coaching is very important in leadership, all of them, but it's not only them. The other thing is, when you have a CEO, for example, top-level director or vice president, they cannot have the technical competencies, but they have to have the understanding of the technical competencies. Otherwise, they cannot make a good communication. How do you say that? underestimate this aspect, because a lot of time CEOs have to take decisions and they don't know nothing about how to develop the technical competencies. Now, from the other questions that Neha, that's right, the name wrote down, is first of all, for the records, there is no records. Be aware, coaches, they don't have to do nothing with medical secret. That means be careful what you stock. Anybody can take it. It's not, they are not protected. Is necessary to do records? You don't trust you to go on with coaching? And I have a very nice colleague who says always coach has two major competencies. He's lazy, he's stupid. That means he asks questions like a computer. Don't forget that. And the other thing is to share questions with the manager. Now, if we follow ethics of ICF, you don't share anything to anybody if you don't have the word doesn't come to my mind. The authorization from your coachee. There is a demand. You make your objective with the boss or the person who require the coaching, and you do also your objective after with the coachee. That means you have a meeting, three of you. After that, you accompany the person. That's all. You accompany the person to his private inquiries, to his private reflection, and you don't have to share that with the company. If you want to improve the relation, you have to ask always authorization. And how to plan cultural coaching. The culture of coaching in the company is a long-term plan. It's a long-term objective. People that they want to do a coaching of 2 days or 2 hours and solve all the problems of the organization, they ask for something, for miracles. In fact, I said in another day, when we certify coaches, we don't certify gods, we certify just coaches. We deal with human beings. That is limited. Even psychologists, clinical psychologists, psychiatrists, they understand the limits. We can go up to a point. Now, what I propose to you, you have an authentic discussion. You ask, you observe people, you explore the question, the demand, how credible this demand is. Don't be manipulated by people. And if you are authentic, if you have a strong relationship, everything will go well. Just explore. Be lazy, be stupid. Thank you, I finish.
Would anybody else in our team like to give us their view?
Just a point, because there is another question lower in the chat about showcase the company's pre and post effect of coaching or measurable effects of coaching. There is a study of ICF, a global study, I think in 2017, I don't remember exactly, but there is a study that the ICF has asked to a big company in the States, and the result was that for $1 invest in coaching, the result was $7 of return of on investment. So that's measurable. It was related to North America, USA and Canada, but I think in Europe is not so different. I think it's more. And but this study exists, so check the ICF global website, because I think it has to be available somewhere in the website, or ask support at coachingfederation.org to ask something. But it has been measured, and the result was $7 for each dollar invest in coaching, and it's huge. But the experience shows that is more than $7 for one.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mario.
Yeah, because if you coach, for example, if you coach a leadership team in a big company, make an example of multinational within a work. They represent 1% of the country balance. Switzerland, and Switzerland, as you know, is a bank and insurance country, so it's a big internal product. They represent 1% of this. Is a lot of money, and if you coach the leadership team of such a company, is much more than $7 on one, is much more. And it's difficult to measure this huge result. But the official one was 7 on 1. So try to check if you can find out the study, because I think it's available on the global site of ICF.
I can say the ICF are the Thought Leadership Institute, as one of the family organizations of the ICF, will be, they're conducting a lot more research into coaching. That's more academic research. They do the annual research. So they've been doing that, like you say, since I think it's 2017 that they've been doing the annual reports. That is accessible to you. As an ICF member, you can download it for free off the website. So please go to the ICF website and also search for the Thought Leadership Institute for the work that they're doing. It's absolutely fantastic what they're doing with regards to investing in research and case studies. And there is a lot on the ICF website, as you say, Mario. So 100%, that's the place to go. I was just going to suggest make notes and ask your clients as well about the impact of you on as a coach on their decision making. I had a client that, due to one particular coaching session, won a pitch worth a few $1 million more. He had incorrectly priced himself for a particular event pitch, and he won a much higher valued pitch. So that one coaching session was worth about $3 million to him. He runs an international event company. So yeah, it can be huge.
Yeah, it is. And another funny question is about how much I have to ask to coach such a company. I mean, to be paid. So in Europe, it's not the same than North America. In North America, you paid by stock options, with stock options and percentage of benefits. If I could in Europe be paid like that, it could be very great, but in Europe it's not the same. So be aware of the normal fares of coaches, known coaches, and don't ask too much. Be right when you ask something, and it's very difficult to make a proportion between what we ask and the benefits of after the coaching. So that's life.
Yeah,
that's what the people say, as Francine said.
Wendy, do you have more to add to this? Because this is one of your interesting, insightful areas as well.
Yeah, for me, it goes beyond the dollar value. You know, when you look at return on investment, the cascade of impacts on the people. I know for myself, during one coaching session resulted in a school being built in India. I mean, how do you put a value on that? It goes way above and beyond. So yeah, there is so much to share here. It's not just about money at the end of the day. What are the measurables when we look at value?
It's a good point. Mario, thank you to outline this point. In fact, we have to think, I take my sociologist and political specialist hat to think about, are the top management is orientated utility or is orientated relation? And in the West European countries, I said West because not all Europe is the same thing, and the American mentality were towards mostly the average management, mostly towards utility. But be careful when you go to Latin America, when you go to Asia, when you go to Middle East, to the traditional culture of the Middle East, to Africa. In a lot of countries, the culture is orientated to relation. I'm going back to another philosophical approach. This is the relation approach. And this is very important because I observe at the university, the young generations, till 2 or 3 years now, they are much more interested to what they have, what they earn in their relationship to the others, in their well-being, and not in the amount of money. Big change, and the social intelligence is enough powerful to change and come back to the human code of values. This is a general statement that I want you to make. Yes, keep in mind the KPI. Keep in mind that you have to translate on money, what I gain as money, as finance with the coaching, but keep in mind that there's already people, they think differently.
Yeah. Can I say something? It's very interesting about flexibility, what you just said, Giorgios, because the ZGN, yesterday we were talking about the ZGN, and it's interesting because they have changed. They've already changed. So when they go to look for an employment in a company, they ask, okay, I've understood what you pay for, but what you can give me, not money, but in another kind of benefits more related to relationships, that another company can't give. And it's a very interesting question because it's related to flexibility. So it's not only money, it's the quality of relationship during the work day, the working day. And it's a daily question. So how to develop a good relationship environment for this new generation, for them to accept to live in that working frame. And it's not only money, it's the quality of the relationship, is the quality of the visionary attitude of the leaders, is the quality of the impact on society and on ecology. So of course, that's not only a matter of money, it's a matter of.
Have you frozen, Mario? Is it, or have I frozen?
I think Mario's frozen. His face isn't moving.
Just as he's getting to social impact. We're on the hour. So if I think we have got a couple of more questions. If you have time to stay, it'll be absolutely fantastic. We are recording these. I think we can go for a couple more minutes or a couple more questions. So thank you, everybody. If you do need to go, thank you very much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, where we have Dr. Costas. And if you can stay, that would be fantastic for you to stay with us as well. And has Mario dropped off?
Yes.
He will be back, I think.
So I've got a question then around, is the financial impact enough to be measuring the impact of coaching and flexibility within organizations?
I think, Rania, you just answered to that. This is depend of the objective of the management. If the management is oriented utility and finance, it's the indicators will be financial, the KPI will be financial. If it's not, they are going to set up their own indicators. It's clearly mentioned to the policy of ICF and the competencies of the coach that we define the KPI or the indicators within our session of goal setting. And we did that in the first day with Wendy, I think. But I see there is a couple of more interesting questions. It's open up later on with what are the indicators that flexibility in organization system become a chaos. First of all, we can think that chaos is good, brings new opportunities and brings also organization. But at the other side, you have to think. I will go back to Aristotle's definition of freedom. Freedom, because freedom and flexibility, they are sisters. Stop where the freedom of the other starts. This is, we see also the balance and the importance of this communion of the relationship. If we can respect and be authentic, we will adjust these boundaries alone, this flexibility, we will create this relationship. If this relationship, which is the strong relation, the strong report in the coaching, if this is established, the flexibility will bring respect, and this flexibility will bring positive outcomes to the company. Never forget also that the flexibility is a capital element on what Rania loves a lot, sustainability. This is a central element of that. For myself, I believe also it's something who goes very, very well with the ISO 26000, which is the social responsibility of the companies. We change a mindset in matters of philosophy and of political system in the world. It's too early for our civilization. I have a master on that matter, Claudio Naranjo, who used to say, in our civilization, we are not able to communicate with authenticity. The challenge of our civilization is just communication. We're in a very low level of civilization. It's a matter of fact that we have a very advanced technology. But as Einstein used to say, this gap between technology and ethics and human civilization, this make what is a dangerous mixture, actually, and we're in a process to adjust this gap.
About flexibility, I was thinking of a phrase, of a quote of Buddha: "Change is never painful. Resistance to change is always." So flexibility is a change, is a mindset change in an organization, and it's a huge one. It's not simple to come from a vertical, strong structure to a flexible one, but the resistance is painful and not sustainable.
Thank you, Mario. One last question, if I may. So Jen asked, do you have any tips on encouraging the flexible mindset? Because it's about this resistance. I find that some people really struggle to enter that.
Yeah.
People avoid change because we're in a comfort situation. A basic idea of coaching is to push people out of their comfort zone. Never forget, for coaching, you have to have it. We have to have a demand. Graves used to say, "Don't change people that don't want to change." This is one thing. And we have also to be flexible with people. We have to understand them, to accept them. This is the emotional skills, to feel in synchronization with them, to have synesthesia with them. If we go to a authentic and with presence discussion, questioning, I think we have a chance to change a lot of things. But never forget, you're not God, you're just coaches.
Wendy and Veronique, is there anything you'd like to add?
Okay, encourage a flexible mindset. Learn NLP. I thought that I was right in absolutely everything that I thought I said and I did, until I discovered, with the help of NLP, that everybody has a very unique model of the world. So that really piqued my curiosity, because everyone is totally different. And that's what I love about coaching. So coaching within an organization, we need to remember that an organization is full of people. So how do we best connect with those people? Well, it comes down to our communication skills, but also building our own awareness on different types of communication skills, different filters, different models of the world, different language. We say one word and it can have different meanings for different people. So how do we increase our flexible mindset, get better at how we communicate? That's yes. NLP.
And Veronique.
I think, lots of, thing has been already, said. I think for me, like flexibility is, as Wendy, somewhere, already said, I think, for me, flexibility when I am with people is first, to listen to them. And I think, the listening is very important, because in certain situations often, we don't listen to people. We listen and then we start answering and say, oh, me and me. So, it happened to me as well. And for me, listening to people, it's a base for me. And we have to have this flexibility to listen to people, even though we are not fully, agree with the person. And it doesn't matter. First, we listen until the end. And then we can start, talking to the person or asking questions. And this is part of the flexibility for me.
Well, 100%. And part of our coaching skills as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much to our audience today and our coaches. Thank you to the team for a great discussion as well. And we are back tomorrow, same time, same place. And we look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.